It is 6:41 on your Friday morning. Night court opened up in Warren this week, and you hear about some specialty courts from time to time, drug court or veterans court. So this morning we're learning about why some of these unique courts exist. Attorney Frank Cassese is subbing for Dave this morning for Legally Speaking. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year.
Well, let's start with night court because that one's a little bit different. It's geared toward people who I guess have other obligations during normal court hours. So do you encounter that a lot? Are there a lot of people out there who maybe can't get to traditional court hours?
Yes. So the one I'm most familiar with is the Mahoning County Court number 2, which is in Boardman. They've traditionally had a night court, and that's in Judge Hauser's court. I did read that the Warren Municipal Court has now offered a night court, and I think it's important and it's accommodating to people. In those courts, it's mainly misdemeanors. So it's more convenient for folks that are working jobs and then have an opportunity to come afterwards and handle their business. And so I do think it's nice to offer, and I think it'll do well there.
And obviously, you mentioned for misdemeanors, this isn't for people who are sitting in a jail cell waiting for their trial, right?
No, I mean, now that's not to say that there aren't folks that are, but municipal courts, those types of courts, their jurisdiction is misdemeanor jurisdiction. Any felony that comes through those courts is for a preliminary hearing, so it's not, they don't adjudicate their issues there.
Now, obviously, we've heard of drug court and everything, too. So tell us about why something like that is needed and how that works.
So the drug courts at the felony level, Judge Durkin runs that court. It's a really unique court. So the Supreme Court has given trial courts opportunities. They've enacted these specialized dockets, drug court being one. The drug court is really an outstanding tool for folks that struggle with addiction, that truly are getting in trouble and committing crimes because of addiction. I've seen countless people go through there. Some folks are successful and some aren't, but I think it's a really, really awesome tool for people to use. I know Dave talks about it a lot, but we are overcrowded in the prisons. Quite frankly, throwing a low-level offender like a drug addict in prison isn't going to help the general public, and it's not going to help that person. So these specialized dockets, like a drug court, they have a team of folks that are together, and what happens is if you qualify for drug court specifically, you would go in and you would enter a plea, and then the judge would hold that plea in abeyance. And it may take a year, it may take 2, and you have to meet conditions, and there's weekly meetings, and there's standards. And what the goal is to help that person overcome these addictions and then be a functioning person in society, and how to cope is a big thing. So it's really great because if you're successful, then that felony that you pled to is then dismissed and it's off of your record, and it doesn't come back when you want to go apply for jobs and do things in the future.
Does somebody automatically get moved into drug court, or is there an application, or how does that work? How does somebody get into it?
So you have to motion the court. So if somebody comes to my office and I believe they qualify for the drug court, I'll file a motion and ask the drug court to accept them. They'll look at the offender and make sure that they're an eligible offender, and then 9 out of 10 times they'll be accepted into the program. And it's hard work. A lot of people don't want to do the drug courts because it's a tall ask. You really want to have to help yourself to get into the drug court.
Yeah, but I mean, basically looking at that or a jail cell, though, right?
That's absolutely correct. Right, and there are people that Judge Durkin, who is in charge of the drug court, I mean, it's a passion of his. He really cares about the people that come through, and I know that he's quoted somewhere along the line saying, if we save one person, isn't that considered as a success? And when you really think about it, it is. It's hard because in the community everywhere, really, drugs they're everywhere, and folks, addiction's a real thing, and it knows no socioeconomic boundaries. So it's a nice way to offer people something different than just a traditional conviction and probation.
Yeah, really interesting conversation this morning. Frank, good to see you as always.
Always.
And Dave, if you're watching at home or watching on your phone, he brought the supplies, so we're good. Don't worry about it.